Kyle Larson makes his IndyCar debut at Indianapolis and picks up the win in Las Vegas. Formula One might be getting a new team in 2024, and Ryan Blaney's disqualification gets rescinded. All that and more on the Flag to Flag podcast.
Welcome to episode 11 of the Flag to Flag podcast with yours truly, John DeRugeris, the motorsport enthusiast. Ooh, that rhymed a little bit. Not really. Ends with a T and an S. And I'm co-host number one, and co-host number one, because I don't want to call him co-host number two because he'll get butthurt, is Mr. Chad Parker. How you doing?
I'm already a little butthurt.
Why are you butthurt?
Your shirt.
Get over it.
Your shirt. No, you have a Dallas Cowboys shirt on. My dad, and you said that your dad and your grandpa were born and raised in Dallas.
They lived in Dallas for a period of time when the team was formed in 1960. Yeah.
Okay. My dad was born and raised an hour north of Pittsburgh in Sharon, Pennsylvania. And my dad always said, we lived in Tennessee. He went from Pennsylvania to Tennessee, and he always said he had three favorite NFL teams: the Steelers, the Titans, and whoever's playing against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Yeah, but
I feel the same way. They have a good quarterback. I don't know, you don't watch football too much, but they have a good quarterback. They have, Pickens there. I mean, wide receiver. They got something good, I think, with this.
There's going to be two football games I'm going to be watching this weekend. Actually,
obviously Tennessee and Alabama.
Obviously
right?
The Tennessee Alabama game, and then my brother's senior night. I'm going to be watching that.
Oh, nice. So, Who are they playing?
Independence High School.
Interesting.
So
Interesting matchup. Cool.
So
Alrighty,
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, we got some stuff here.
A lot of stuff going on. A lot of news. Like we mentioned, episode 11 got some news coming out. Obviously, with IndyCar, if you haven't been paying attention, Kyle Larson has been all over the IndyCar world because he's going to be running in the Indy 500, and he went out for the rookie test this past Thursday. That would have been Thursday the 12th. And that's cool to see because I think he has a solid chance, Chad. I think he has a solid chance getting behind the kind of caliper of car that he's going to get behind. I think he has a chance.
He has said that in an interview that he wasn't able to go the full speed that he wanted to. So the way it worked was there's 3 rounds. So it was Kyle Larson as well as a host of other IndyCar rookies who there was 3 rounds they went out. Each time they had to reach an increasingly faster lap time. And he said by the end of it, he wanted just to go flat out the entire way around. But, I don't know how the deal works, but for some reason he couldn't. Something also interesting that happened that I didn't see till yesterday was last week on Tuesday, Kyle Larson competed in the High Limit Sprint Car Series. Okay. Which I believe he is either the owner or a co-owner of. On Thursday, he went and raced at tested at Indianapolis, and then Sunday wins the South Point Hotel and Casino 400 in Las Vegas. So he had a pretty good weekend, and yeah, so that's kind of what we got for IndyCar. But you got anything about that? On. I mean, I'm excited. It's for the Hendrick 1100.
Yeah, it'll be good. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun to watch. And follow the story. Imagine if he could win both, or at least do well in both.
That would put him in the history books.
Oh yeah, like. Obviously
we saw a little bit of history being made this past year with Roger Penske, Joseph Newgarden winning the 500, Ryan Blaney wins the 600. So
exactly. Yep.
Are we going to see something like that for Rick Hendrick and Kyle Larson?
It'd be cool. It'd be cool. It's going to be taxing, depending on the weather in Indianapolis.
That's
and
the one
flight.
thing I am thinking about is the physical strain it's going to be. Because I was at Indianapolis and I was getting burnt up just standing out, just sitting out there.
Right. Yeah.
Let alone being in the car. Yeah,
but I think he's going to be. They're going to condition him. He's been conditioning for this even when he first got, basically acknowledgement that he was going to be able to run both. So he'll be conditioned. I think it's just going to be, if anybody out of the Cup field, if I had to pick to run both and to do well in both, it's going to be Kyle Larson. He can go run anything and run well in any kind of car, and I think it's just going to be the actual physical constraint of, how much can your body take. I mean, we saw Tony Stewart do it, and Kyle Larson is in much better shape than Tony Stewart was when he did it. So,
and Kurt Busch when he did it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it could be pretty cool. I think he may have a chance. But that's, I think, IndyCar. I don't know if you want to add anything on top of that, but that's all IndyCar news that we got.
Like I said, I'm going to be at either one of those two races,
nice.
Or I might just hop in the helicopter with Kyle Larson and go to both. But
hey, do it.
You never know. But let's move on to Formula One here. So Thursday, I actually got this information from the Motorsports Enthusiast.
Oh, really?
I didn't
Who's
see.
that?
I didn't
Who's
see
that
it
guy?
come out. I don't know, some dude who needs a haircut. Thursday, Alpha Tauri CEO.
I just got a haircut, bro. Have you seen how long my hair was? Man.
No, because you always wear a hat. All right, I always wear a hat because I never do my hair.
Well, I did my hair today.
I got up 10 minutes before class, and I'm not doing anything today, so yeah. That's what's going on. But yeah, on Thursday, AlphaTauri CEO says that the team will have a new identity in 2024. I've heard many rumors of what it could be. I've heard someone say it could be Adidas. Which would be interesting. Adidas is a little bit involved in racing. I know Clint Boyer actually got suits made by Adidas for a little while in the NASCAR scene, but I don't know. I heard something. I don't know what's confirmed or what's not confirmed.
You know what that'll do? That opens up the door for brands, because obviously Adidas is a I wouldn't consider them a sport. I mean, they're a sports brand. But having Adidas as the name, that opens up the door for, think about Nike. Think about, what's the racing one that all the suits are made out? Puma. Puma. Puma's big.
Have you heard the story between Puma and Adidas? The creator of Puma and Adidas were actually brothers.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. If you ever get a chance, go look at the story. It's pretty interesting. But so what these, but yeah, I feel like that with Adidas, when you hear the name, you put them in the category of apparel, but you also put them in the category of sports. You see a lot of sports teams, that's their brand. They only wear Adidas made stuff. But when you look at something like Red Bull, where Red Bull is energy drink and extreme sports, which, I consider Formula One especially to be an extreme sport.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, so I think that might be it. I don't know. I mean, I think it would be hilarious, and I'd stop watching Formula One probably if I turned on the TV and all I heard was Adidas passes Schmuckers going down the front straightaway, and here comes the Red Bull. So yeah, so if I heard something like that, then I don't know. But if that's the case, yes, I do feel like it can open the door. But what about you? Do you have any picks for who it might be?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a toss up. I mean, it with them identity. With going through that change, is it going to be a manufacturer change? Is it going to be a branding? I mean, obviously branding change, of course, but is it going to be a complete slate? Completely new slate over there in AlphaTauri? I don't know. But they've already confirmed their drivers. So they have the drivers. They just need to announce what that's going to be, which should be coming probably at the end of the season. I don't think they're going to do it during the season. I think they're probably going to wait to the last race, I would imagine, or somewhere
I'll do
around
it to
that
the end
time
of the season, and then after that, we'll be looking at car reveals, which will be really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's see here. Oh yeah. So another thing I was thinking about with this was, are they still going to be kind of a junior or team or kind of something like that to our development style team for Red Bull? We kind of see that with what's it called? With Alfa Romeo and Ferrari, because Alfa Romeo and Ferrari are both owned by Fiat.
Yeah.
So, something like that, it was Alpine is kind of that way a little bit with Mercedes, and we got some news about Alpine here in a little bit as well. What else came out? Let's see here. Spa got announced to be on the schedule for 2025, and with this next thing, I am so upset about, because I am 300 miles away.
Oh, yeah, you didn't know.
No, I knew.
Oh, you just
I just didn't have the funds to go down there.
To come down. Oh yeah, Danny Rick was in our hometown of Nashville.
Nashville,
doing the Red Bull show run, which was pretty cool. I gotta say.
Did you go?
I did not make it down there. Because I had to do that. A lot of things going on around the house. I'm remodeling. We're remodeling the garage, so like I had to do a lot of work.
Into what?
A man cave entertainment area. So like projector, couches, pool table, ping pong. Yeah, whole 9 yards. Whole 9 yards. So I was spending the day prepping that to get ready for
that's valid.
Paint and floors and stuff. So
I got a group of folks back home who did go to it, and they sent me plenty of videos, and it was a very cool experience. It looked like a very cool experience, and
right.
And you know, Danny Rick, he always loves that kind of like that Southern American sort of style. You know, you go too far south, you get Miami. You know, but if you kind of get right in that Texas, Tennessee, that other place right below Tennessee, I'm not allowed to say that name this week.
I don't know what's below us.
Yeah,
they're below us for a reason.
But that's a good one. But yeah, I feel like that was just a perfect fit. You know, Nashville is very much becoming a motorsports city. In my opinion, you know, we've got a brand new road course being built, or I think it's pretty close to being done.
Cannot wait for that.
Flat Rock, I'm pretty sure.
Flat Rock, it's going to be insane.
So that's definitely going to be interesting.
If they ever have track days, I am taking my car out and driving over that way. 100%.
Me too. I will take my 2007 Toyota Highlander.
Okay, you want to race?
What do you have?
A 2016 Camaro.
Since when do you have a Camaro?
I've had a Camaro.
Jesus Christ. This shows you how much me and John knew about each other before this podcast started. It was literally a phone call.
Apparently you don't know anything about me because you diss on my hair and you don't know what car I drive. So this podcast is going to be down to one host after today. Me, not you. You're gone. I'm joking.
If you want to figure out what that is, head down to Broadway Saturday night, Aldine's Bar. We'll be duking it out. But yeah, I feel like that was just a perfect thing to do. And I remember when this first came out, we kind of had this conversation. I kind of want to think about it a little bit more, especially with something like Flat Rock being built. You said it. Formula One teams, you know, it takes a lot.
Yeah.
For these guys to go overseas, not for a race, just for an event like this. All right? And I don't know how much money they got out of it or anything, because as far as I know, it was free admission. So, but they don't do this type of stuff for nothing.
You're right. You're right. And I'm looking up something because I want to confirm this because I have not heard. But I want to confirm this with my handy dandy Google tool here. If this is actually going to be correct. I'm trying to figure this out. I don't see it. Okay, you ready for this?
Okay.
The thing that they need is to be FIA certified.
Grade 1.
So I don't know. It says, I don't know what grade they are, but it says FIA certified circuits. So that's a good step. It doesn't say what it is, but it says that Flat Rock will be FIA certified. I don't know what level, which means we are going to get racing there.
That's good.
I can't. I mean, why else would you have a FIA certified track and not have some form of motorsport going on there?
Yeah.
You know, they just don't build a road course was it like 3 point something or like 4 miles? I can't remember. They just don't build a road course like that for nothing.
Where is it relative to Nashville?
So Flat Rock, it's about an hour and a half.
That's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. It is.
If Formula One comes, that means that Nashville, Tennessee, will have
it's about 2 hours. 2 hours. Let me tell you, 2 hours.
For Formula One, I'll do that. Okay, but for that, there will be at least one race a year with all 3 major racing series. 4 if SRX goes back to the fairgrounds.
Right. I mean,
please.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%, because you have Nashville Super Speedway, which is Lebanon.
In Lebanon. We got
and then the Grand Prix, IndyCar, and then
downtown.
If and this is going to yeah. I don't know what grade. I don't know what grade it is, but if it gets a 1, we may see the F1 show up at the track in a few years. Obviously, it'll probably look like 2028, 2029.
Yeah, but like something like
road.
that would be insane.
Oh, well, I think we're probably going to get IMSA. I imagine IMSA or some GT3 class race out there.
WRC, or no, not
something.
WEC, not WRC.
Yeah.
Well, maybe WRC.
I don't know how they would. It depends on the circuit, but it said circuits. So there's obviously multiple configurations going to be suitable for multiple different kind of series. So I'm excited for that. So, yeah, I mean, that we kind of talked about and segued from Danny Rick coming to Nashville. But yeah, there was that. And then, don't know if you want to add anything to that, particularly if we could just move on to the next topic.
Oh, the only thing I was going to add is just I feel so bad for that woman and her cats. You know what I'm talking about.
The woman and her cats.
The woman and her cats, who lives real close to somewhere that I'm really fond of.
I was like, wait, what are we talking about? Oh, I do too. That's going to be so sad.
Yeah.
Poor thing. Anyways, speaking about
all right.
So on Formula One still, news came out today actually about 5-6 hours ago that Alpine just got a huge investment from some of the world's best athletes, a $210 million combined investment with the likes of Patrick Mahomes involved, Travis Kelce, Rory McIlroy, which is going to be pretty cool. They also have
he invested too?
Yep, Travis Kelce.
I didn't know he
Travis
did too.
Kelce.
Okay, cool.
And then you have Liverpool's Trent Alexander-Arnold. You have the World Cup winner Juan Mata and former heavyweight world boxing champion Anthony Joshua, as well as just coming to read this word for word. Let me just see. Okay. Yeah, so basically they're having a lot of backing from all these athletes, and I think it's kind of cool to see because we've seen this in other sports. We've seen it in NASCAR with Pitbull, Michael Jordan, people coming over, investing, building
Mayweather.
teams. Yeah, Mayweather involved in that. But to have arguably the best football player in the game right now with Patrick Mahomes, arguably the second best football player, Travis Kelce.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Right, whoever
Travis
that is,
Kelce,
yeah, whoever
Rory
McIlroy, a great golfer, and you have all these other, investors involved in this, probably giving, I don't know what the partnership is, if it's all equal, it'll be about $33 million apiece. But what this does is this is putting not just F1 on a global scale, but more than it already was, but motorsports and these athletes getting involved in, other endeavors. Kind of going off of what Patrick Mahomes said, literally word for word. He said, quote, "I've always had a passion for all sports. The opportunity to lead an investor group with Travis and Alpine F1 alongside Otro Capital was one I couldn't pass up, and it's an exciting time for the sport, and this is an opportunity to bring our shared values to the world stage. I'm looking forward to being a part of its growth." So it seems like all these guys just want to get involved with
racing.
Which is cool, which is cool to see. So, they
cool.
have,
I'm going to be interested to see where they put that money. I mean, with an investment that large, that can do some serious stuff.
I mean, you're looking at with $200 million and not
that's about a year's worth of funding.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're talking about major improvements. I mean, major. I mean, you're looking at complete car redesign. You're looking at possibly. I mean, they've had a little bit of success, a little bit of inkling of good bouts here and there.
Yeah.
But with the names of Mahomes, Kelce, McIlroy, Alexander-Arnold, all these guys behind them, this puts, a little bit of pressure on Alpine to perform. So, and they're not going to,
that money's there, but it's not guaranteed that it's going to stay.
Right. And so that's the thing is, if these guys don't perform well and the money doesn't get spent well, you may see these guys back out, which would be bad. But you gotta, it's a lot of money. I mean, sure.
You just got to play you got a new deck of cards. You got to play it right. All right.
Yep.
That's really the big thing there.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, we're on our way to our local racing report. We're only about 20 minutes in, but
there
we're
we
on
go.
our local racing report.
Nice. So where are we at this week, Mr.
We're at Brainerd Optimist Drag Strip and Ringgold in Ringgold, Georgia. They had a drag racing event. This featured the 5.30 class, the Junior Dragsters, the 6.0, the 7.0, the Outlaw Pro Mods, the Second Chance Pro Mods, and Super Pro, and No Box. So, in drag racing, it's kind of hard to say who's going to be third, but we've got first and second here. We got first and second for each one of these. For the 5.30 in second place, we got Dwayne Teague, and taking home the 5.30 bracket win, Taylor Jones. And the Junior Dragsters coming home second place, we had Emma Green, and taking home the Junior Dragsters bracket win, Maddox Millard. In the 6.0s, coming home second, Stephen Dowley, and picking up the 6.0 bracket win, Joe Patilla. In the 7.0 division, coming home second, Jesse McKnight, and coming home first in the 7.0 bracket race, Jason Young. For the Outlaw Pro Mods, which was the big show that night, second place, Chris Carter, and first place in the Outlaw Pro Mods bracket win, Jeff Bird. Bird or Byard? Probably Byard. Second chance pro mod race. Sorry?
No, I would say that would be Bird.
Bird. All right.
Yeah.
Second place, or second chance pro mod race. Second place, Nathan Wells, and your second chance pro mod race bracket winner, Tim Cigars. That's a cool last name. Super Pro division, second place, Lee Harbin, and taking home your Super Pro bracket win, Keith Thomas. Finally, the No Box division, second place was Chris Smith. Excuse me. And taking home your No Box feature bracket win, Jason Moore. If you would like your local short track shouted out on the Flag to Flag podcast, email flagtoflag10@gmail.com or hit up any of our social media channels. Listen up for those at the end of the episode, and make sure you always go and support your local short track and bring a friend.
There we go. So now, moving on to the only series. Yeah, the only series that performed. Let's talking about NASCAR as a whole. Everybody was in Las Vegas. So starting with the NASCAR Youth Series, Chad, what do we got here?
So for the NASCAR Youth Series, they wrapped up their dirt they wrapped up their dirt championship a few weeks ago. They wrapped up their pavement series championship last week at Charlotte, and the final round of their Western Championship will be this upcoming weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to the dirt and pavement series champions in the NASCAR Youth Series. So we got a lot of names here. Multiple names are going to come up twice. So yeah, for your dirt champions in the junior Honda division, we got Riker for the Honda divisions. We'll do it like this. For the Honda divisions, junior, Riker Sumner, senior, Lincoln Smith, and for heavy, Avery McMillan. In the 160 division, junior 160, Alvina Goslin, light 160, Lincoln Smith, heavy 160, Augustine Punk. In the animal division, junior animal, Jax Whitmere, senior animal, Lincoln Smith, and your unrestricted animal champion, Avery McMillan. In the World Formula divisions, we had it in the Light World Formula, Lincoln Smith. Heavy World Formula, Reese Wedger. And in the Mod World Formula division, we had Caden Wedger. So, Lincoln Smith taking home the senior/light championships. What are you looking up? You looking up Lincoln?
I've never heard of the animal division. Like a junior, senior animals. So I was just curious what those were.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll take you out to the quarter measure track sometime. But yeah, pavement champions: junior Honda, Easton Gardner; senior Honda, Colton Kelly; heavy Honda, R.J. Dayton; 160s, junior 160, Rue Reeves; light 160, Case James; heavy 160, R.J. Dayton; junior animal, Jax Whitmere; senior animal, Case James; unrestricted animal, R.J. Dayton. World Formula divisions: Light World Formula, Lincoln Smith; Heavy World Formula, R.J. Dayton; and Mod World Formula, Tyler Lupton. So R.J. Dayton taking home, I think, all the heavy.
There you go.
All the heavy divisions there. The ARCA West Series was racing at the Bull Ring, which is right next to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Third place was Tanner Reef. Second place, Trevor Huddleston. And taking home the ARCA West Bull Ring win, Dylan Capello. Trucks were off this week in the Xfinity Series. Stage 1, Cole Custer took it. Stage 2 and your race winner, his first career win, Riley Herbst. So
What a win.
It was a good win.
He dominated the race.
14 or 15 seconds.
Yeah, he took control.
Max Verstappen numbers. Yeah. But yeah, let's get into the race. We had the first race of the round of 8. Tuesday it was announced that Carson Hocevar had signed with Spire Motorsports, which I found kind of interesting. You know, he's been working a lot with
Legacy.
Legacy, thank you. Sorry, with Legacy. But we already knew that those 2 seats were going to be filled for next year.
Yep.
So yeah, but we do other stuff. We had Suarez and Elliott to the rear after having to go to backup cars. So 2 non-playoff drivers, but yet still have a chance to fight. I'm pretty sure Elliott is still in the fight for the Constructors Championship.
Yep, he is.
Which is really interesting. But yeah, Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson led the field for the 206 laps of the South Point 400 around Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Off of turn 2 on lap 3, Larson took the lead. Bell retakes the lead. I wrote rotates, but retakes the lead on lap 29, exiting 3 and 4.
Yep.
Lap 34, green flag pit stops start, and with those came Ross Chastain getting a penalty for too fast entering. The leader, Bell, pits on lap 40, and J.J. Yaley takes the lead.
It's been weird with JJ because he's like, if you know him from obviously like the mid 2000s to like 2010s, he was a driver there, obviously making his way kind of back into the Cup Series, but they put him out front and just pit completely off cycle, but he's been the one consistent, like, I'm not saying he's not good, but like they're in that the lower tier brackets of teams. He's always up there. He's always there. He's always just leading, just in case something happens. Caution comes out. He's leading the race. You never know. So, cool to see that.
But yeah. J.J. Yaley crossed the line to make it to go to lap 41, and shortly after that, Larson takes the lead. Caution on lap 66. Eric Jones has a right rear flat, which, I do want to talk about that for a minute. We saw a lot of right rear flats, and did you see the broadcast on why?
No. I didn't hear specifically why.
So, the way they described it was this. So, all these cars have a rear diffuser.
Right.
And that helps downforce with the car. The lower that is to the ground, the more downforce there is. Mm-hmm. So what those teams will do is they're taking a lot of air pressure out of that right rear and lowering it down, which to me is kind of interesting because the right rear, the right sides take the most on a lot of these, on the oval tracks. The right side takes the most tire damage, but the right rear does take a good bit of it as well because it's the one that's getting the most pressure under power. Through a turn, all 4 points of the car. I'll take my phone here. So this car is coming towards you. All right, going through the turn, going into the turn. The left front has the most pressure. Has the most pressure on it. Then, as he's going through the turn, it kind of becomes equal over, it kind of becomes, no, wait, hold on. I said that wrong, actually. No. The right front has the most pressure going into the turn because of the inertia of the car. So when you're going in, the car's actually going in like this. Car's going in like this. Yeah. So the right front has the most pressure entering the corner. The right rear has the most pressure exiting the corner, which is where we saw a lot of these cars crashing is when they come out. And depending on the track, depends on how much these side get, the left side gets damaged. But the right rear, in my opinion, does take a lot of the force. And yeah, we saw a lot of these cars spinning out, exiting. I mean, what do you really have to say about that?
I mean, it's, I don't know if it's the fact that it's just building up too much pressure. I don't know if it's, obviously over a long run, it just builds and builds and builds. So it could be a product of that. I mean, we've seen right rear issues in these cars before, not at this track, but at Bristol we've seen it. We saw it early on when the next gen car came out last year. So that kind of, I think, took a little bit of a step back due to how many wrecks they've had with these right rear tires. But it was just odd because it wasn't one manufacturer, it wasn't one team really. It was kind of a little bit across the board.
It was a little bit similar to what we saw in Texas.
Yeah, so in Texas and Vegas, they're both mile and a halves. Similar style, kind of. Turn 1 and 2 in Texas is very different than turn 1 and 2 at Vegas, though. Yeah. I think it's just a pressure buildup, and when you have too much pressure in that right rear, obviously, bad things can happen. It could be how these guys were driving because the majority of the field didn't have the issue, so it could be it seemed like from what I saw, it was the high line that was causing this. Not the low line, which could be something to do with the lines that the drivers were running.
I was about to say, yeah.
You saw.
We saw lines all over the track, where
right.
we saw, we had people, running the more traditional line, kind of running towards the bottom. I saw most of them running kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the middle was split into own 2 lanes, so we almost had 4 lanes of racing.
Yep.
And then we had what we call the Larson line, which is right up along the top, which the way the track changes, over time, it it might migrate up there, but you never really know. So that is interesting.
Yep. So could be just a high line and the higher speed running a high line and the pressure under that. So that's my take on it. But all right. So after the right rear blows for Mr. Jones,
Bell took the lead after pit stops under yellow. Bell and Larson led the field back to green on lap 72. Larson takes the lead on lap 73, exiting turn 2. And I'm just going to say this: Kyle Larson had a fantastic short run car. He actually played this race very well. He had a very good short run car at the start, and then at the end he had a very good long run car.
Yep.
So you always want more of a long run car than a short run car, but what you really want is something kind of in the middle, something that can perform, something that has good speed, good momentum when that green flag first comes out, but yet can carry that for 10, 20, 30 laps. Yeah. So you want something kind of even there. Kyle Larson goes on to win stage 1. Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin lead the field back to green for stage 2. A.J. Allmendinger gets a pass-through penalty after a restart violation. And I wish they had that restart violation rule in iRacing because I get screwed on that all the time.
It's so bad. It's so bad in iRacing. I remember I was in a race. It was actually last week. We was the ARCA cars at Michigan. And some dude was laying back. I was in the back of the field. I didn't want to qualify. I'm trying to build my safety rating back up because Super Speedway Weeks kills my safety rating. I was hanging in the back, and I was noticing the car behind me backing off. I'm like, here we go. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. He's going to go 3 wide. Jumped 2 lanes and went around, not half the field, probably a good third of the field, and sends it into turn 1. I'm like, dude. Come on. So, yeah, I wish I had it in iRacing. They have it for the leader. They don't have it for the leader.
I don't know.
It's a mess. Either way, yeah. So, Allmendinger basically was in the high line, dropped back a little bit, and started to basically, right as the line, he started crossing the line, he started to drift up into the 3rd lane.
Yeah. And so one thing that I've kind of noticed is I still do it every now and then, is spotting for other folks, whether that be in iRacing or real life. But almost most of the race, 99% of the race, my eyes are on the car that I'm spotting for. The only times my eyes are not on the car I'm spotting for is on the initial and restarts. Because I want to see exactly when that leader is going. And then when he does go, I tell him. So, that's like everyone looks at the leader, and then as soon as the leader goes, everyone looks back at their car. And as soon as that leader goes, all you hear is green, 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 go, 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 roll, like all that. And so, it's strategy. NASCAR's cutting back at it, trying to keep everyone close, and it's a little bit of a safety thing too, I think. But
agreed.
But hey, rules are rules. They're enforcing them. There you go. Hamlin takes the lead on lap 39 or 93. Lap 112, Carson Hocevar blows a right rear tire and hits the wall. Once again, I'm pretty sure it was on the exit of the turn. So when he's in the throttle, that right rear's got the most pressure on it, blows the tire. Back green on lap 118, Keselowski and Larson leads. We had a lot of different people kind of sticking their nose into the lead here, and a lot of different people who I want to keep my eye on for these next 2 races. but we'll talk about that later on. Lap 142, Larson hits the wall on the backstretch. Just a little love tap, Obviously didn't kill anything. Goes on to win the thing, but
save of the year. Save of the year, because it
could have been bad.
It could have been bad. It could have been our point standings could have been completely flipped.
Oh yeah.
And he is now locked in to the championship because obviously, if you pay attention to NASCAR, he won the race. Save of the year. Save of the freaking year.
Caution on lap 145 for Alex Bowman, gets into the wall on the front stretch and loses all steering of his car. And yeah, so he was real frustrated about that because, he's kind of the same situation that Chase Elliott's in. He's not fighting for a championship, but, he still wants to perform good, He's still out there to race, and he still wants to try and help his teammates get into the championship. Byron and Keselowski lead the field back to green on lap 150. Larson retakes the lead, coming to the line on lap 156. Kyle Larson goes on to win stage 2. Christopher Bell and Ross Chastain lead the field into stage 3. Caution on lap 210. Chase Briscoe hits the wall, exiting turn 2, and has the left rear go down.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the left rear under throttle doesn't get as much pressure because, like I said, that inertia is still pushing the car to the right-hand side.
Right.
That's why if you ever get a good setup for iRacing or any type of racing, you're going down the straightaway. You can't see I'm going to show you my steering wheel for this, actually. You see, this is what a lot of people think going down the straightaway is like. A good setup, you're actually going down the straightaway almost like this, turning to the left. Mm-hmm. And that's because you want a car that all it wants to do is go to the left. All it wants to do is go to the left. And so,
right.
Yeah. That's kind of...
When you want to turn it to the right?
No.
Technically?
No, what?
If you turn to the left and you want your car to go to the left, want to go more left?
Yeah. I want the car to turn left. I want to put as little wheel going into the turn into it. The more wheel I put into it, the slower it is.
I'm just messing with you.
Like, Jesus Christ, are you watching NASCAR in Australia? What are you talking about? All right. Larson Keselowski lead the field back to green on lap 216. Ty Gibbs gets into the wall, exiting turn 2, after he loses the right front with 51 to go. Caution comes back out. Now, that tire was not cut in half, but the one side of the tire was completely cut off.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird because it wasn't loose, was it? It just it almost... I don't know how to describe it. I've never seen a tire do that in these next-gen cars.
I haven't seen a tire do that at all. I've never seen that.
But, because of that, 2 crew members
are suspended.
And
I think they classified it as a loose wheel, a loose lug nut, which...
I mean, if it's a loose lug nut, then yes. But have they confirmed that it was a loose lug nut?
I got the notification today that they were gotten suspended. So I guess they're treating it as a loose lug nut. Maybe it is. I haven't looked too much into that, So it could be interesting to see what it was if we get a report or anything about it. But
right.
Also, something I just thought of. I just remembered that came out today. At Homestead, Trevor Bayne will be driving the number 25 Rackley War truck. So
there we go.
Will be in that
car. Nice.
So a little fun fact right there.
Perfect.
Larson and Keselowski lead the field back to green. Restart violation for Chase Elliott, gets a pass-through penalty, and by .083 seconds, I think, at the line. It was good, right at the line.
It was close.
Larson got it over Christopher Bell. Moves on to the next round of the playoffs.
Yeah, that was a good finish. I mean, I
it was a good finish. It was a good race.
Bell had the car at the end. I mean, he gained on Larson at the end.
Both cars both of them had good cars.
Yeah.
I think at the start, Kyle Larson had a short run car and Christopher Bell had a long run car. And then towards the end, they kind of changed the setup and had it to where it was more of a long run car with Kyle Larson. Right. And I feel like you see it in the result. He barely had a better car, if not equal, and Bell didn't have enough time. I feel like one more lap, it would have been good.
Oh, also, Bell could have spun Larson, easily. I feel like coming to the line.
Bubba Wallace part 2.
Yeah, really. Yeah, but I mean, he had the chance to do. I know Christopher Bell's not that kind of driver,
No.
but he definitely had the opportunity to do that.
No, it's definitely it was there, but he raced him clean, and like I said, one more lap could have been completely different, but it was the South Point 400, not the South Point 401.5. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now we after that win, Kyle Larson is now locked into the championship 4. One of our picks is locked in. We talked about this before, so now we have the fun discussion of talking about playoffs, talking about standings, talking about who we think is going to be out.
Before we get into that, though,
and who's going to win. But yes,
before we get into that, there was a driver I saw quite a bit actually out there who I think might have a chance at making it into the Final Four, maybe even a shot at the championship this year. However, I thought those hopes were crushed after I got the notification after post-race inspection that Ryan Blaney was disqualified and was counted as the last car on all stages and at the end of the race. Yesterday, however, we got the notification that it was reinstated. It was not reinstated. It was rescinded. The disqualification was rescinded.
Yeah.
Do you know why it got rescinded?
Well, I do know why because you told me before the podcast. But I think it's really weird. It just doesn't make sense to me.
So,
go ahead, tell everybody else.
NASCAR has they have pre-race and post-race inspections, and it's basically the exact same thing. There's a few things that they check, and this is actually with all racing series. There's things that they check every week, and then they have the random checks, which it's a random thing in the car. It could be a drive shaft one week. It could be a shock one week. It could be anything, Could be a brake caliper. Could be anything. But, so one of the things that the main checks that they did, they're obvious. They did their regular checks. They checked the body of the car, and then they checked the random check was shock absorbers. So for the springs, and so the spring came back all good, and but however, when they put one of the body templates on there, it did not match up with NASCAR's body template, and that's, and he was deemed disqualified. He was probably rightfully upset, put him at the bottom of the playoffs. He was 56 points below the cut line.
Yeah,
he was basically,
unless you win, you're out.
He was in a must-win situation going into the second week of the round of 8. But then we get that NASCAR rescinded it, and the why is because the tech template was, what's the word I'm looking for?
I mean,
not
basically
defective. That's kind of the word.
I mean, yeah, it just wasn't right.
It wasn't up to NASCAR specs. NASCAR says it has to be within this, and the template wasn't up to it. So that means that he got his 6th place finish back, and he is now 17 points. A lot comfortable, 17th points below the cut line in 7th compared to 8th place. So,
I'm curious though, if they use that against other parts, and if they checked that with any other car, and it came back clean, but Blaney's didn't, wouldn't you think that they had to do the reverse? Because if it can only fit one way. It's a puzzle piece basically. It can only fit one way in there, and if the wrong way is the right way. By the template standards,
the nose of the car and the bump and the rear bumper of the car are the only thing that is different throughout all the teams.
Right.
You either Chevy, Ford, Toyota.
Right.
Everything else between those 2 points are exactly the same.
Right.
All right.
So I feel like if they checked any other car, I'm curious if they ever did. If they used that template on any other car that this past weekend, wouldn't that automatically deem the other ones faulty? Because if it was, if they only got Ryan Blaney, his was off, but it was actually correct. If they tested it on another car and it was right, I'm just thinking the inverse is just a logical. It's an inverse, right? It shouldn't.
But how many cars? I mean, he was the only one that was
know.
noted as disqualified. So how many cars would have actually been illegal? I mean, as soon as these Cup cars get back to their garage, they're automatically stripped, taken apart, and used for scrap parts after that.
Yeah.
So there's no way. I feel like NASCAR was just. They took their big mistake and fixed it, which is I respect that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, that is an interesting way to look at it. I haven't thought about it like that, but yeah, let's look at the playoffs now. Or what?
No, I'll say let's go to the playoffs.
Let's go to the playoffs now.
So Larson locked in. Already know that he's going to be in the championship 4. And then the battle for fifth second through fifth is 11 points or 14 points. No.
Wow.
13 points. Larson, obviously, with the win. Byron is +9 to the good. Truex and Hamlin are both +2. And then Christopher Bell is -2. With Reddick -16, Blaney -17. Still a big feat. And then Buescher -23. So it's really close for all these guys here because Martin Truex Jr. had a terrible car all day long, and they turned it around. Denny Hamlin was battling in the same way. All these guys kind of finished in around the same, finishing order. I think it was Byron, Hamlin, Truex, actually, and how they finished. So no stage wins for anybody outside of Larson. So he's, stole that. It gets very interesting now going into Homestead and going into Martinsville because the closer the battle, the higher the intensity. And, I mean, I think, truthfully, Buescher and Hamlin, even Reddick, are in a must-win. I think they're in a must-win because these top 5 are going to perform well at these next 2 tracks, I believe.
Yeah. And who knows? This is the NASCAR playoffs. This is racing. Anything can happen. We might see Chris Buescher win this weekend or next weekend. All right? We might see Bell, like he did last year, in a must-win situation, clinches it. Gets into it. So you never really know what's going to happen. All right, Reddick, not a lot of noise from him last week, but he was up there for a little bit, though. But yeah, I think it's going to be really good. I'm going to say that Blaney makes it into the Final Four, but I'm still going... Ooh. I'm going to say I'm going to say this now. It's going to be Larson, Byron, Hamlin, Blaney.
And the other 4 out. So Truex isn't making it.
I don't think Truex is going to make it. The same thing happened to Bubba Wallace, all right? Bubba Wallace got in by the hairs on his chin. In the round, he barely got into the playoffs, barely made it into the round of 12. Then he got eliminated. I feel like Truex's luck is going to run out. He has had a much better season than he had last year. Last year was just a really bad season for him. But I'm still sticking with... I'm going to stick with Hamlin still for the championship.
Interesting picks because I'm going to go a slightly different direction.
All right.
Going off of what we see here in the current standings, Larson obviously locked in. I think we could see a very dominant. Talking about next week because I have to think about the next 2 races. Very friendly to Byron, very friendly to Hamlin, very friendly to Christopher Bell, but not in the same light as Kyle Larson. Let's take a look at this. Last year, Kyle Larson got 20 bonus points, which I believe that means he won both stages at Homestead. He qualified 5th, and this was only a 267-lap race. You know how many laps he led last year at Homestead?
I know he didn't lead the last one because Larson got the win.
I'm talking about Larson.
Oh, Larson?
I'm talking about Larson, yes.
I thought you were talking about Christopher Bell.
No, Larson. I meant, okay, so I am, okay, yeah. If I didn't clarify, I'm talking about Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson, he got 2 stage wins because he had 20 bonus points. He started 5th. Obviously got the win. Do you know how many laps he led? 199. He led 199 laps last year in this race. I don't think...
Not bad.
I think he has a shot to win back-to-back races in the championship, which, if he does, and he
That'll
may be
throw
my
a
pick
wrench
this
into
weekend.
the mix.
I was about to say, I think Kyle Larson is going to be my pick this weekend. I think he's going to go back to back. So
Byron.
Interesting. I thank you.
I knew you were gonna say something, but yeah.
With looking at, I like data, I like stats, and leading 200 laps is no coincidence. And he led and won both stages. I mean, and that's a complete race. I mean, a fully complete race. Where if you look at the other playoff drivers, another driver that I think is possibly has a chance is looking at Martin Truex Jr. He got 17 bonus points last year, which means he's finished ninth, or I guess it depends on where he finished, ninth and eighth, or second and third, rather, because of 9 and 8 points to get 17. William Byron also got 17 stage points. So, I think Byron is a very good pick with this. I think Truex is a good pick. And because of that, my pick for this weekend, as of right now, is going to be Kyle Larson. I think my first four in, or I guess my last four in, it's going to be Larson, it's going to be Byron, it's going to be Hamlin, and I'm still going to go with Bell. So my pick isn't going to change because I'm looking at, the run that Christopher Willis had.
It's going to be the Hendrick-Joe Gibbs fight, yeah.
Exactly. And I don't think Truex is going to make it unless he can pull something together, which he had great success. I think he'll finish pretty close to the front this weekend. But
He's won at Homestead before.
He has. I'm looking at Hendrick Motorsports to do very well at Homestead. I'm looking at Christopher Bell, who actually finished ahead of Byron this race last year by one spot. So I just don't like Blaney. Blaney finished 17th. Buescher finished 13th. And Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick, he finished way back, 35th. Got involved in the wreck in 242. He did get 7 bonus points, so he may be up there too. I think it's going to be Kyle Larson. So I'm going to pick Kyle Larson this weekend to win at Homestead. Byron's going to make it in. Hamlin's going to make it in. Bell's going to make it in, which means Buescher, Blaney, Reddick, and Truex gone. Goodbye.
All right. Those are, in my opinion, those are actually pretty decent picks. I'm going to go Byron.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, he's kind of getting into that. He kind of understands that multi-lane racing. I wouldn't say as well as Kyle Larson, but again, he has more of that dirt experience. But yeah, I'm gonna say William Byron. I'm gonna say it's gonna be William Byron. The top 3 is gonna be this. I'm not 100% sure how it's gonna be this. The top 3 is gonna be this: Byron, Bell, Larson.
Interesting.
Somewhere there, that's gonna be your top 3. So I don't know. Could be. But yeah, it's really interesting. And yeah, racing.
We'll see. We have the second race of the round of 8 this weekend at Auto Club Homestead Miami Speedway. Auto Club's not even on the schedule next year, right?
Yeah, I think it's getting remodeled to be a short track.
Yeah, a very long short track, if whatever that's going to look like. But the race comes on this Sunday, October 22nd at 2:30 Eastern Time, 1:30 Central. We also have COTA for Formula One coming on this weekend. I believe it starts, you said, 2 o'clock Central Time, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Formula One hits the Circuit of the Americas. So we got to talk about that. We didn't even talk about predictions.
We did kind of skip over that. I think
it's hard not to say Verstappen.
Yeah, it is, and I'm really looking at the other parts of the podium, and honestly, I think it's just going to be a similar podium to what we've been seeing. Is Red Bull, Verstappen wins, and then McLaren 2-3. So
interesting.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. I will say this: I did hear this today. I do not know if this is confirmed. As far as I know, this is a rumor. But as far as I know, that Daniel Ricciardo's seat will have a seat in Formula One next year. However, which team it will be with is dependent on what happens these next few races. So,
was he back?
I don't know. No, it's not dependent on him. It's dependent on Sergio Perez. I heard a rumor that said...
No way.
I held a rumor that said if Sergio Perez loses second place in the championship, he will be replaced by Daniel Ricciardo next season. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because The reason I think this might be true is because we all know that contracts don't mean shit to Helmut Marko.
Right.
All right? He does what he wants. Who knows? I might be completely wrong. I might have just seen something on the internet that doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
Also, Ricciardo is back.
Is he back this weekend?
Now, after missing 5 Grand Prix, Ricciardo said, "I'm back." It came out today.
Woohoo! I love the Honey Badger.
Because why would he go and drive a Formula One car downtown in Nashville and not be back if he had a wrist injury? I mean, I guess it's a little bit different, but like, let me just double check this, just to make sure. Ricciardo returns to F1 action while entertaining. Ricciardo returns from injury with Red Bull. Daniel Ricciardo's come back. United States Grand Prix, Austin, Texas. Injuries, Liam Lawson's debut. Ricciardo drops big F1 comeback hint ahead of America's triple header. Daniel Ricciardo is set to return to the Formula One grid at this weekend's United States Grand Prix after almost 2 months of recuperation for his broken hand. Ricciardo has been sidelined since August. The Dutch Grand Prix, when a crash during practice broke the 5th metacarpal bone in his left hand in 7 places. Oh my God!
Ow! That must have hurt. I bet that tickled a little bit.
Just a little bit. He underwent surgery that week and has recovered ever since with the New Zealander. I think it was Zoolander, but New Zealander. Liam Lawson taking his place for the 5 Grand Prix. It looks like he is going to be back.
That's good.
Austin, quote, "Everyone knows I love Austin. I wouldn't miss that one for the world. See y'all in Austin," he said.
There you go.
So, interesting though. So, Ricciardo possibly making his return to Red Bull. You think somebody takes it for the team? Like, hey, we don't want surgery anymore. Let's just dump him. Let's just wreck him.
No.
I know. I'm not. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
But yeah, it is interesting. If it's true, I don't know if it is true, but if it is true, it's gonna put. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna put a fire underneath Sergio Perez's butt. And
because where would he go?
We don't know. I don't know. Williams' seat's still open. Yeah, no. But if that's the case, if this is true, Daniel Ricciardo is going to be the biggest Lewis Hamilton fan there is.
Oh yeah. And
Yep.
I mean, it'd be a cool comeback story, but if that one seat is still open, with Williams, which as of right now it is, and this is true,
it's up in the air. People are possibly talking about if Perez stays in the seat in 2024, possibly retiring. He has been in the sport a lot longer than people has. He didn't make that much noise for a long time until about 2020s. But yeah, these past 3 years, he's been making some noise. So yeah,
we'll have to see. Well, that's interesting news. So I think that wraps up this episode of the Flag to Flag podcast. We were right about an hour. Cool. Back-to-back episodes at an hour.
We're getting good at this.
We're getting pretty good. So if you enjoyed the podcast,
like we know what we're doing.
Exactly. Maybe. Not really. If you've enjoyed the podcast, make sure to subscribe and to like if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this or listening to this on Spotify, make sure to drop a rating and to follow the podcast as well as Apple Podcast. And make sure to hit us up on all our socials, flag_10 on Instagram, everywhere else, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, all the other platforms. We are at Flag to Flag Podcast.
Is there Twitter up now?
Nah, it's up. I don't know if we're doing anything with it.
All right.
We got to talk about that really quick. Either way, but thank you for tuning in to episode 11. We'll be back next week with the recap of the Homestead race in the NASCAR playoffs. We'll be recapping COTA as well as any other news that comes out in the motorsport world here with the Flag to Flag podcast. Chad, any send-off words? Any parting words?
Bubba Wallace is mid. All right, thank you so much for watching the Flag to Flag podcast.
See ya.